This is Roots. And sometimes you don't have to travel anywhere to become an observer. Sometimes you just need a window. Growing up, our house was on a corner, a busy corner, where people passed by on their way to the station and back home again. The kitchen was the heart of our home. It was where we naturally found ourselves as we got ready for the day, making breakfast, getting ready for school and work, and doing all those ordinary things that happen in a family kitchen. And from there, we had a front row seat of the world outside. We watched people coming and going, and long before we became familiar with their routines. At a certain time of day, a particular person would pass by. We knew the rhythms, and between the whistles of passing trains, we could almost tell the time without needing to look at a watch. The evening return brought its own color. There was Uncle D, newspaper tucked under his arm, sometimes already reading the headlines as he walked past. And then the lady who fascinated us, because her hair color was never quite the same. Every time we saw her, she had a different color: orange, purple, red, blue. These were such ordinary things, but they became part of the landscape of our childhood. People we didn't necessarily know well, but whose routines became familiar simply because we saw them often. And then Chantal and I, we were the welcoming committee at the gate. Hello, 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 hi. One person after the other as they made their way home. We knew the neighbourhood by its rhythms, by its faces, by its sounds, and by the people who passed our window every day. One evening we watched the Marais family from our kitchen window, watching them pack up their family and move to Joburg. We watched friends coming and going, people leaving and returning, life unfolding around us. I sometimes wonder how many people, out of curiosity, would subtly move the corner of a curtain just to peek outside without being noticed. Enough to see without anyone catching sight of you. And then there was Dad. He'd simply lift the curtain, appear in the window, and look. No subtlety whatsoever. Who can stop me from looking? It's my house. A couple of times I would look out now at just the right moment and catch sight of a harrier hawk perched on a lamppost, and I would be in awe of its magnificent presence. Eagles have always been some of my favorite subjects. The problem, though, that most of the time I'm driving when I see them. So I can't exactly stop in the middle of the road, grab my camera, and capture the moment. I have to be content simply to spot them, a lone eagle overhead. And somehow I find comfort in seeing it. Fast forward, and Chantal recently came home after 20 years away. And I found it fascinating hearing her observance of the neighbourhood. She noticed things I had perhaps stopped noticing. People walking their dogs, young people moving in groups, people pushing shopping trolleys, collecting recyclables. And she said, "My goodness, this place is busy. We don't see this in New Zealand." From her perspective, not much has changed. But then she started interacting with childhood friends. Some asked her why she was walking. Others warned her about safety, telling her to be careful. But Chantal continued on her merry way because one cannot look for danger around every corner. And it got me thinking, how many different ways can we see the same place? We can grow up in the same house, walk the same streets, know the same people, and still experience different worlds. It reminded me of something Joy said when she was at creche. She asked me, "Mom, why are there no peach people?" It was such an innocent question. She was simply trying to understand the world she was seeing. And perhaps that's what we all do. We look at the world through whatever lens we happen to have. Our childhood, our experiences, the places we've lived, the people we've met, the things we've been taught. Chantal sees home through the lens of someone who has lived in New Zealand for 20 years. I see it through the lens of someone who stayed and kept watching. And Dad simply lifted the curtain. Perhaps curiosity is really about that. Not necessarily traveling somewhere new, but looking again at somewhere you thought you already knew. Seeing something you had overlooked. Noticing the ordinary and suddenly finding a story in it. A kitchen window, a busy corner, people going to the station and coming home again, a family moving away, friends coming and going, a newspaper under an uncle's arm, a woman whose hair was never quite the same color, a hawk on a lamppost, an eagle overhead, a sister returning after 20 years, a little girl asking an unexpected question. Different people, different lenses, the same world. And perhaps that's where the journey begins. not with wanderlust, but with wonder. This is Roots.